I don't do these very often, but since you want to come and move to Japan, and let me tell you a little bit about the jobs that you're going to be looking at. All right, so there's a couple of things I want to hit today. It's the end of the school year in the US and in Canada and generally all over the West. And as always, at the end of the school year, you see many things on Twitter and Tumblr and other things that were bought by Yahoo and YouTube and stuff saying, hey, I want to move to Japan. I can't wait. I gotta go. I want to be in Japan. I want to live in Japan. Which is all well and good. That's fine. Japan is a fascinating place to live, a wonderful place to live. If you are in high school and your school has a foreign exchange program, great. That is a fantastic way to do it. If you're in university and your school has a foreign exchange program that you can get to Japan, great, do that. But this video is really going to be aimed at those that are just graduating from university or are coming back or just after university or, like me, fell into a spot later on. I'm going to talk about a couple of different levels of jobs. This is going to kind of mirror an audio program that I did quite a few years ago, about what to expect when you're coming to Japan to work. Of course, I'm going to be focusing on the English language teaching aspect of it. There are jobs outside of teaching English, but they're a lot more challenging to get, and you better bring some mad skills. Yes, with a Z. So like I said, we're going to focus on the teaching English as a second language aspect of things, which is my field. So I'm going to give you a little bit of just my perspective after having been here for more than a couple of years. Base entry level, you're either going to work at an eikaiwa or an English school, or you're going to be on the JET program. If you have to choose between the two and you have the opportunity to do the JET program, do the JET program. The JET program is a fantastic opportunity for you to get into the country, see what's going on here, get a good feel for how Japan works, and it'll give you a chance to get your feet wet and find out a lot more about the country and the culture, and you may find that you want to leave after a year or two or three. Or, like other people, you may find that you've found your niche, you've found what you want to do, and you want to stay. So the JET program and most of the eikaiwa programs, basically you're going to need a bachelor's degree or the equivalent from your country. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, England, basically any native-speaking English country, any sort of first undergraduate degree, that will be enough for you to be able to qualify for the visa and get in the door. Finding the job is a little bit more challenging. You can try Ohio Sensei if that's still around. The JET program is the one that I would recommend. The JET program is a pretty known quantity. Everybody who's involved with it has a pretty decent idea of what's going on these days, mostly. So you'll be put in schools where they've had foreign teachers before and they kind of have a good pattern for it, and you can get some stuff done. It might not be the stuff that you think you're going to do, but it still is a pretty good program to deal with. If you're coming as to work in an eikaiwa or a language school, then prepare to work. You're going to be spending a fair amount of time in class, bring some nice clothes, and you can make a pretty decent salary for just graduated university student. Like many bachelor's degree situations, you're looking at an entry-level position, lots of hard work, lots of trying to figure out what's going on, and a lot of doing your best, and you'll make some good connections, and you may or may not find a career there. Which brings me to my really, really important advice for those of you just coming out of school or near your junior year of university or something like that. Get a teaching degree, get a teaching certificate license in your country. If you can come with a teaching certificate or teaching license in your country, that will open doors that other people won't have the opportunity to get at. It's still not going to do you that much good on the JET program or in an eikaiwa situation, but once you are here, you can take the opportunity to convert your teaching license from a foreign country into a Japanese teaching license. Now, you need to bring some Japanese along with that. So if your Japanese isn't that good, then spend your first year or two really hitting the books and bringing your Japanese up to speed. But once you've been in country for a little while and you have a foreign teaching certificate and you can find a school, a university who will let you finish their teacher licensing program, you can convert your foreign teaching license into a Japanese teaching license, which will allow you to work at private schools in Japan. Private high schools or private junior high school, maybe some private junior high schools as well. Yes. That certificate is one version of gold. You'll have a lot of opportunities there that you won't necessarily have if you do not have that certificate. If you're just working with a bachelor's degree, then congratulations, you need to move on to step 2. You're going to have to go back and get your master's degree if you're looking for really long-term good work in Japan, unless you take the other option, which I'm going to talk about later, and that's a different angle. But let's hit the master's degree first, and then we'll come back to the other side. So with a master's degree, that opens up the universities for you. If you can get into a few universities, and your master's degree in particular is linguistics, TESOL, education, anything in those in particular, then you are set up to be able to start working part-time at universities. Yeah, it's possible to get full-time gigs at a university straight out with a master's degree, but most places are going to want to see 3 years or so at least of higher education experience. So doing part-time work at a university while doing the eikaiwa stuff, or even with the JET program if they let you do extra work, is not a bad way to go, but you have to have the master's to be able to do that easily. There are people that do not have masters and do teach at the university level. It is a hard gig to get, and you got to know somebody. So network, network, network. But the good news is, once you get into the university situation, then you can move on and possibly dig up a full-time university gig. Now, currently, the flavor of the month is a 3-year contract that is going to come with some sort of apartment stipend or something along those lines. Occasionally, you'll find fully furnished apartments, depending on the school. And the money's going to be okay. You're not going to retire on it, and they're going to kick you out after 3 or 5 years anyway. Now, the reason for them kicking you out will depend on who you talk to. Go look at the internet. I'm not going to delve too deeply into that because it is a can of worms, and I live here. So that said, you have your master's degree, you have a couple of part-time gigs under your belt, you have a couple of years experience at the university level, so now you're looking at public universities, private universities, and religious private universities. All of these have a few jobs around. There's always something available. Whether it's a good gig or not a good gig, I don't know. The average gig is going to be what's called 10 koma, so 2 classes a day, 5 days a week. That's not horrible. A full-time tenured professor at a decent school is supposed to be able to do 6 koma, so that's 2 classes a day, 3 days a week, 2 days for research activities. But that is coming closer and closer to the zebra unicorn. I don't know anyone who's actually managed to get that gig because the universities don't want to do it. The more common full-time tenured professor gig is going to be probably 8. There are situations where you can see that are 5 or 6, but those are rare. Moving into the tenured position is really a challenging problem. Start publishing, start writing. You've done the master's degree, start redoing your master's dissertation, get a little experience, join the professional societies like JALT and JASSET and a couple of the others. And get out there and start getting your face around. The conferences are for meeting people and doing presentations, of course, but getting the papers published and meeting people who are working at other universities is the best way to find out what jobs are going to be coming available. For a lot of people, the university gig is kind of the holy grail, the brass ring. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for a tenured permanent position at a school. It's not bad. But you do want to be a little cautious about your work stuff. And by stuff, I mean number of classes, money, how much are they going to kick in for your housing, stuff like that. So let's go back to I just finished my bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's degree yet. I'm not terribly interested in going back to school for it. But I've been in Japan on the JET program and working at eikaiwas for a little while. What are my options? Well, you have a few options, but one of the first things I would start to do is take a look at what you can do to contribute to Japanese society. So cultural studies, being able to show people around, promoting Japan on the internet, like YouTube. Not just otaku and manga stuff. I have memorized the first 4 volumes of Bleach is not going to get you anywhere with immigration. It probably should, but it's not going to. However, if you can take your love for manga or anime or whatever and translate that into something that is scholarly and can be shown to increase interest in Japan overseas, that could be valuable for getting the permanent residency. Now, permanent residency means you're going to end up having to have a solid job, a stable job, and doing this contribution to Japanese society idea. Or it means that you've been married and have a kid, or 2, or just have been married for a long time. Because the spouse visa does get you 75% of the way there. You can open businesses, you can do basically anything that you want as far as work in Japan once you have a spouse visa, and the permanent visa is just another flavor of that. The nice thing about the permanent visa is, or permanent residency, sorry, not visa, it's a status, that you don't have to qualify for opening a business. If you want to be here on a business visa status, then you have to have like mad cash, and you have to have the business plans, and you have to have a U.S. business first. Starting flat out in Japan for business, if you're not on the permanent residency or the spouse visa, can be very challenging. I don't know anything about it. Did I mention Google is your friend? Google is your friend. So you're married or spoused, or you have a job that will allow you to work at more than one place at one time? Great. Perhaps starting your own eikaiwa or language school or your own business is an option for you. This one, you don't need the master's degree. You can just get in and start doing the work and make sure that you go through and do everything legally, because getting kicked out permanently for a visa violation would kind of suck, because basically you'd lose your business because you can't come back into the country to take care of it. So, and with that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. This is going somewhere, probably going somewhere maybe Saturday or next week. I'm not entirely sure which. But I got some other stuff I want to talk about. So, yay. But we're not going to talk about it today. I got other things I got to get done. Deadlines. It's pain, right? All right. So, yeah, get your stuff done. If you're not graduated, graduate.